Hello there, thank you for joining us. Muammar Gaddafi's opponents have made major advances, sweeping west into ground previously held by the Libyan leader's forces. And this after coalition firepower cleared the path for them. We're now also hearing reports of explosions and anti-aircraft fire in the capital, Tripoli. Convoys of rebels are moving west along the coastal road from their stronghold in Benghazi. There have been celebrations in the port town of Ajdabiya, which was retaken on Saturday. They've also seized back the old refinery town of Brega and Ukailia. Meanwhile, further west, Aljazeera correspondents say that opposition forces have now taken the strategic oil exporting center of Ras Lanuf. While in the town of Bin Jawad, pro-Gaddafi forces reportedly put up little resistance. Now, this means that Gaddafi's hometown of Sirte is now within the opposition's sights. But in the country's west, Misrata is still the scene of fierce fighting, even though France says its warplanes destroyed 7 Libyan aircraft there. Alan Fisher has our report.
This has been a rapid and stunning sweep through the east of the country. In just hours, Brega, Al-Qaila and Ras Lanuf have fallen to the rebels. Now they say the next stop is Tripoli.
The damn Gaddafi. Tell him that we are going to get him. He can run, but he just can't hide.
There has been little opposition to the rebel drive. They say government troops are quickly putting down their weapons and switching sides. As British jets continue to target Gaddafi's forces on the ground, it's been confirmed nearly 100 cruise missiles were fired into Libya on Friday, hitting Tripoli and other targets near the coast. The Gaddafi government says the attacks are killing civilians, a claim denied by the US.
We do have a lot of intelligence reporting about Gaddafi taking the bodies of people he's killed and putting them at the sites where we've attacked. We have been extremely careful in this military effort.
Taking over Brega, Al-Qaila, Ras Lanuf are all big wins, just 24 hours after seizing the town of Ajdabiya. At each place, the celebrations have been loud, but then the advance gets underway again. The next big city ahead of the rebels is Sirte, Gaddafi's hometown and a government stronghold. This won't fall easily. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera.
Well, in Benghazi, several hundred women have marched through the streets protesting against the treatment of a Libyan woman. Eman El-Obaidi burst into a hotel of foreign journalists in Tripoli on Saturday, telling them that she'd been raped repeatedly by Gaddafi's forces. The demonstrators blocked traffic in the city as they marched in condemnation of her treatment. El-Obaidi had told the journalists that she'd been tied up, raped and urinated on after being stopped at a checkpoint in Tripoli. Security men and hotel staff beat up journalists and dragged her out of the hotel to a waiting car. She hasn't been seen since. A government spokesman claims that she was drunk and had mental problems. Let's go to Tripoli now and speak to Anita McNaught. Just a reminder that she is operating under government supervision. Anita, I'll ask you about the latest from Tripoli in just a second. First, do you have any news or any latest developments on the story of this woman we've just been speaking about, Eman El-Obaidi?
Well, we do very briefly, but I think, unfortunately, there's probably more to come. There is something of a witch hunt going on in the state-sponsored media here in Libya. She is viewed as a woman who has let the side down very badly by going public about what happened to her. It's very unfortunate she's having to undergo a second trial by media here following the ordeal she went through yesterday, although state media are arguing that she put herself through a trial by media unnecessarily yesterday as well. One of the channels here has put a hidden camera, they're saying on TV, on both her and her sister and filmed them in conversations, but we haven't seen that video yet. That's been something that's been talked about on TV here. So whatever is happening here, it is a sort of domestic backlash, if you like, a damage limitation exercise.
And Anita, we're also getting reports of explosions and anti-aircraft fire in the capital, Tripoli. What have you seen and heard in the past few hours or so?
Well, it's been quiet here the last couple of nights, largely because whatever bombing there was out of earshot from where I am. But this evening, about 3/4 of an hour ago, quite distinctly 6 separate explosions. And from the reports we're getting back now, I think we've got a pretty good idea of what the target was so far this evening. It was the Khamis Brigade, the 32nd Brigade, that is sort of attached to the name of one of Colonel Gaddafi's sons. It's the most well-armed, well-equipped of these strange sort of brigade units that aren't exactly regular army. They're kind of independent from that, because Libya doesn't have an army as we understand it, not like, for example, Egypt has an army. There's many bases, many units and headquarters of theirs scattered around Tripoli, but the two principal ones, the Tikbali base, and that's in South Tripoli, and the headquarters in Tajura, both, we understand, have taken hits tonight. The significance of this may well be something to do with Sirte, the town on the coast that the rebels are actually heading towards now, because that is a major Gaddafi stronghold. It's another major military stronghold for...
Unfortunately, we seem to be having some technical difficulties there with the live link to Anita McNaught in Tripoli. We will try to speak to her again later on in the program, of course, her bringing us up to date on the latest there in Tripoli.